Ooh, what is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're having a lovely day. Let's listen to a little bit of Big Big Train. Let's listen to the first two tracks off of their album, The Underfall Yard, which was released. Hold on, I actually didn't pull it up. 2009. Okay, so we've listened to a decent amount of Big Big Train here on the channel. I shouldn't. What am I talking about? What am I doing? So we've listened to a little bit of Big Big Train here on the channel, and I mean, I think we're kind of due for a little bit more. You know, based on what we've heard, I've always been enjoying them. They are an awesome band. Awesome band. East Coast Racer, that's a classic. That's a prog classic, no matter how you spin it. I have seen requests for The Underfall Yard. And then this album also has Victorian Brickwork, which is a track that has been requested probably since the inception of this channel. So I figured, you know what? Why not work our way perhaps to it? And maybe through it. We'll see. This depends on what you guys want to hear. This depends on what I want to hear. So let's at least start with the first two. Now, I was originally just going to take the first track, but looking at it, the first track is instrumental, Evening Star. And then the next track, Master James of St. George, I don't think is instrumental. Actually, I didn't look that up. I'm just assuming, I don't know, but I'm just assuming that it's an instrumental intro, of course, into the album and possibly into the next song. So it's better to play it safe, listen to both songs, than just listen to like an intro for the album, and then maybe it's like, that's it. You know what I mean? Well, this is that. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you really for being here. I appreciate it. Right now, it's 5:50, actually perfect timing. It's 5:55 on a Sunday afternoon. Weather, pretty fair. The wife is bringing home dinner. I was going to make something, but then she called literally just a minute ago and said, hey, I'll bring something. I said, well, that is 100% okay with me. So anyways, Evening Star, we may stop it after that and discuss it, or we may listen to Master James of St. George right on through. Either way, let's settle in, relax for some music. This is Big Big Train with Evening Star. To me, that is a magical introduction, but it's also just an imaginary and amazing track on its own. It really is a great intro piece that actually does a great job of leaving you really satisfied. It's like this. You got an appetizer, or you ordered an appetizer from this restaurant you heard about, and you saw the picture. Of course, the picture's smaller than you expect. And you're like, okay, I've heard a lot of good things about it. And you get the appetizer. First of all, size-wise, it's a big appetizer. This is a platter for two. You're going to be sharing this with whoever's across the table from you. And then the flavors hit your taste buds, and you're like, this is an appetizer? What's the main course going to be like if this is the appetizer? Evening Star serves as an incredibly satisfying appetizer that, like, on its own, I could have listened to this on its own because it just hits all the right spots. You get your big climax, you get a great build-up. I love the melodic notes that they choose, and they've always chosen in all their music. The way the music orchestrates itself and the way it's all composed is beautifully and brilliantly well done. I like how the vocal oh begin in the opening, and then later on they're phrased again. So it's a nice way of continuing and bringing that continuity into the music itself. Also, I don't know. I'm going to look this up really quick. Underfall Yard, the name's Big Big Train. I know that. It's not like this is the first time we've listened to him, but I feel like this is railroad industrialization kind of based in some way. Listen to this part of the intro after those oh kind of go away, and the way that the percussion and the drums build up. Listen to the hisses and the pops as if some sort of steam yard or train is being prepared to go. Prepared to go. I couldn't say lift off. It's not a shuttle. Oh, that's dreamily hypnotic right there. I love the way that this gets into it. Oh yeah. The beat starts. This feels like the heart of the engine moving. And maybe it's just because I have that East Coast racer in my head. But the way that the track gathers steam steadily and yet always with power. There's something new around the corner in each instance. Oh yeah, listen to that little bass run, and then the way that Dave Gregory comes in with the guitar, just sprinkled with subtlety, yet always with packing a certain kind of flavor. And then you push up. It's all coming to a head. You have the synths in the back, beginning to raise cadence, beginning to build pressure. Skip a little bit. The hums come back. Hit it. The light fills the room. And a little bit of flute too? Okay, hear me out. First of all, that's just a good moment on its own, but hear me out. Usually in a big climax like that, you're going to bring out the guitar. You're going to bring out some like big vocals. You're going to bring out something that's just overwhelming and overpowering. And yet, we got Longden with the flutes. And it still graces the track with the right amount of persuasion. It still hits just as hard without being overwhelming or overpowering. That's good. Evening Star hits all the right places. And once again, like I said, the horns, the orchestration, it all comes back. It all just helps everything flow beautifully in this track. It's self-serving and it serves a purpose and it hits all the right points. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, this doesn't just serve as an intro to the album, but it serves as its own standalone, satisfying track to listen to regardless. Okay, so I did say I was going to look this up. So really quick, I'm almost right. Almost right. So the Underfall Yard is a historic boat yard on Spike Island serving Bristol Harbor in England. Okay. Do you remember in Sherlock Holmes, the more recent one with Robert Downey Jr., the first one? I think that one of the action sequences was set in a boatyard. Was it set in this specific boatyard or just a boatyard? I don't know why I get that. But that's kind of like the idea and the imagery I have in my head. Like not steampunk, but that industrial kind of steam-powered kind of setting. Anyways, let's go ahead and move into the next track. I'm going to let the end of Evening Star play so we kind of get that lead in there and that power. Residue. Why did I say it like that? Residue. The residual power from Evening Star as we go ahead and move on to the following track here, which is going to be Master James of St. George. Let's go.
To build castles of snow. Master James,
That's a song. Now that is a track. That's nearly left me speechless. There's a lot in there to appreciate, but man, how that all comes together. Listen, when you listen to the Big Big Train, they're always going to leave you satisfied. I mean, that's the word I keep on coming back to, even with the first track. But they just always leave you feeling good. They always leave you feeling better than you did before you listened to them. Pretty much. Also, something that I noticed on this track before I go any further, because I didn't know this before, but this album is actually the first to feature David Longdon on the vocals and other instruments. So, what a debut for him in the group. I mean, he will absolutely be missed because his voice is, to me, very unique, powerful, smooth, polished. It hits so many different notes, and I really enjoy that in this particular track. But also, speaking of the vocals, I really like about 2 minutes in, maybe a minute or so in, there's a section in there because this track, it kind of builds vocally. They have a lot of different echoes and calls and responses, and the vocals kind of begin to overlap each other. At one point, they all come together, and it really reminded me of Yes. Because the way that they would all harmonize and they would all come together so playfully and profoundly. And here, Big Big Train kind of does the same in the way that they build it up. I can't hear any of it. Hold on, let me turn it down so I don't hurt your ears or anything
You're
like that.
yelling. You're totally.
This is my YouTube voice.
It's kind of a lot of different voices at once.
That's the cool thing about it, though.
I like it. Slows down.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, I like when he sings by himself, like when it kind of slows down when it's just the one voice. Because like when all the voices going at once, it's a little bit too much.
You feel like it's too much?
A little bit, but that's because that's how I am. Say hi. She's gonna scratch you. I like this part.
All right, listen to this section. Doesn't the way they bounce back and forth kind of sound like Yes? It's just harmonic layers of wonderful sediment that's being built as this foundation here. And even looking at the track, the lyrics, there's only 4 lines that are repeated the whole way through. And they get the most out of those lines. It's not a wordy song. It's not a very, what's the word? There's a P word that means wordy, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now. There's a P word that means wordy, and it is not that. It's not verbose, but it does make the most of what we're given. Come on. Longdon's going for it. And then the way the synth comes in after. Is that Mellotron? Might actually be Mellotron that's being used right there. You know, sometimes it all just comes together. This solo from Spottin', as far as I can tell, this is so jazzy. This is so eclectic and playful. He's just skipping around on this really, really heavy bass groove. And how beautiful is it right there? Oh yeah, that's jazz right there. Oh yeah, and then it gets right back into this big chorus moment. Man, I love the way that, like, this is only 4 lines, and they really take that and stretch it out. And I don't mean stretch it out in like a filler way, in a bad way. They actually get the most out of it. They actually make it come to life. So those 4 lines are only Master James of St. George, of the fields and the sky. He used to build castles of stone, steel, and blood, but lines get broken down. Now, the first question is, obviously, who is Master James of St. George? I can look that up really quick. But I'm getting the idea that he is a builder of sorts, naturally. And he says, of the fields and the sky. He used to build castles of stone, steel, and blood. So maybe he died, and maybe now he builds in the sky, of the fields in the sky. But lines get broken down. There's a disconnect. It also could just be literally, like the things he built are now kind of falling apart, so they need to be redone. Then you get into a whole Theseus ship. You know, if you take out the old parts and you put in new parts, at what point does it lose its identity and stuff? All right. You don't need to hear all that. So actually looking up the history, I'm looking at James of St. George. He was a master of works and architect from Savoy. Kind of like, I don't remember the main character's name, but from Pillars of the Earth, the main character, how he became like a big builder and the flying buttresses and stuff. He was largely responsible for designing King Edward's castles in North Wales. And I'm looking at a lot of his different architectural work and different castles. It's actually pretty cool. So this is basically Big Train paying tributes and homage to Mr. James of St. George. Let me know what you guys thought of the track. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you as always for being here. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you liked it or didn't. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. It is now 6:23. It's been a while. 6:23, my battery's almost dead now. But enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.